In our last lesson, we talked about how to count each product using count if, and then we summed up the quantity of each product that was bought, which is this particular column right here, and then we got the amount that was generated for each product that was sold, and then we also got the sum of each of the count of products that we have in our stock, which is 500, and then the quantity of this stock that was sold is 7,712, and then we made a total revenue is 71,044. So now in this lesson we're going to be talking about how to use if as the condition statement to give a discount to customers that has brought within the threshold of a particular product. So let's say that the customers bought a product worth $200. We want to give them a discount of 20%. And if a customer has gotten something that worth $200 to $500, we want to give them a discount of 30%. And if they have gotten something above $500, we want to give them a discount of 40%, something like that. So we know that the total cost of what each customer has gotten is what we have in this total cost column right here, and we've gotten that using multiplying the column for quantity and unit price. So the multiplication of quantity and unit price gives us this total cost right here. So we're going to be using this total cost since this is what our customers are going to be checking out with. We're going to use this to get the discount that we're going to give each customer, and then we're going to in the next column right here, we are going to remove that discount from the total cost of products you have gotten, and they're going to pay the discount is going to be removed from the total cost. So now how do we get started? So we want to apply a condition to this particular column for each entry to check if a product is gotten from. So let me just give an overview of what we want to do here. Let's just insert right here. So this is what we want to do for each product so from 0 to 200 we want to give a discount of 0.2, and then from 200 to 500 we want to give a discount of 0.3 or 30%, and then for products greater than 500 we want to give a discount of 0.4 or 40%. So this is what we're trying to achieve, and we can do that using our condition statement, using the if and then the upper ands. So we have three. We have not, we have or, and we have and. So we're going to be combining these together. So now let's get started. So I want to write a condition first for this 0.2. So I'm going to say if, just going to open. So I'm telling Excel I want to write a formula there. So I'm starting with my equal to sign. So I'm going to say if and then open parenthesis. So if the value in this column, if this G2 right here is, so now we have the first option right here is a logical statement. So this is what is going to take our condition to check for this. So if this value is greater than or equal to 0, even though we don't have values that are 0, but let's just say if this value is greater than 0, but then we need to put another condition that if it is less than 200, because right now we are trying to check if it is between 0 and 200. But assuming we just want to check if it is just above 0, then we have just written the condition like this. So what we want to do now is to say if the Okay, I'm getting an error. Let me just remove this for now. So what I want Excel to do is to check if the value is between 0 and if it doesn't exceed 200. So I'm going to combine that if with and. So I'm going to say equal to if and. So now once I open this, now this and allows me to write two conditions. So I want to tell Excel that if that value is greater than 0 and that value is less than 200. And why am I even doing that? If I say if the value is greater than 200 and I leave that condition to be like that, Excel is not going to interpret that I want it to stop at the threshold for 200 unless I stipulate that I want it to stop. So which means that if I say a value is greater than 0, 500 is still greater than 0. So I don't want it to actually pick a value above 200. So I need to put a benchmark on that 200 so that it only picks values that are between 0 and 200. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to say if this value right here is greater than 0, that's the first condition right here, comma. The second condition is if this value is less than 200. So what exactly is Excel going to do? Excel is going to check for me, is this condition true? Is that value greater than 0? If it is greater than 0 and the value is less than 200, because if the value is greater than 0 and it's not greater than and it's greater than 200, that means that this first condition is not satisfied. So for this first condition to be satisfied, the value has to be what? Greater than 0 and less than 200. So for this now, the value will only be 0 straight down to 199. It will not even, it won't pick for 200 because I want to give that mark of 200 to something, to a different discount. So now this first part right here is my condition statement. G2 is greater than 0 and G2 is less than 200. So that satisfies this condition. So if this condition is met, what do I want it to return for me? I want it to return this value, 0.2. All right. So what happens if that value is not within 0 and 200, which is actually 199? So I want you to still check for another condition. So if you look closely now, you see my logical statements, which I've actually written right now. The value, if it is for true, which is 0.2. So right now I'm expected to put a value if it is false. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to write another condition that is going to check for another condition right here. So I'm going to say if again. I'm going to say if and again, because I still want to check between the threshold of a particular value and another one. All right, so I'm going to say if and if this value is greater than or equal to, now I want to pick 200. Now if this value is greater than or equal to 200, and so I'm just separating that condition with a comma, and this value is less than 500, which means this value has to range from 200 to 499. So don't forget I'm writing this condition in my false statement for this first if. So now, right now I'm going to say comma. So what value do I want it to return if it satisfies this condition right here? I want it to return 0.3, which is 30%. Comma, what value do I want it to return once it's false? So now I've checked two thresholds. I've checked 0 to 200. I've also checked 200 to 500. So the last one is 500 above, right? So which means if the value is not between 0 to 200, it's not between 200 to 500, then that means that value is greater than 500, right? Also, I'm just going to put an equal to
Yeah.
right here to these zeros, just in case we have a value that is equal to 0, but I'm sure we do not have any value that is equal to 0, so let's just leave that. So now for this last one, because this is like the last option I can have, since I've checked for 0 to 200, and I've also checked from 200 to 500, which means whatever value I'm getting now has to be 500 above. So I do not need to write a condition for that part, so I'll just put 0.4, and then I close this parenthesis. So right now I'm closing this first this one right here, so I can hit enter now. So now you can see now that my formula is working right, because 184 is within 0 to 200. So
The
if I
first
just
condition.
double click that to autofill what I have, you'd see that right now I'm having 247 to pick up for 30%. If I scroll down a bit, you can see now I have 522 gets a discount of 40%, and that's how I have it all across board. So now for range of prices for 0 to 200, 200 to 500, and above 500. So right now what I want to do is to remove that percent from the total cost they have to pay. So what they are going to actually pay is what they are going to get this 2% discount from this. So how do I do that? I'm just going to say equal to, just like our mathematics, right? You get 2% of something, so 2% or 20% will be 20 divided by 100 times the value that you want to do, right? And then when you get that value, you then subtract it from the total cost. So that's what we're going to do now. So we are putting this total cost first right here, and then we're going to do minus this value right here, minus this times this right here. So right now I'm saying that 184 minus the discount. So the discount, normally I'm supposed to get like 20 divided by 100 times this, and that 20 divided by 100 is what I have to be 0.2. So I no longer need to like introduce 100 again. I'm just going to say that's 0.2 times the total cost I have here. So I'm just going to hit enter, and then I'm going to auto complete that.
Yes.
2%, you're now paying 147.2. So I'm just going to apply the format for currency right here. I'm just going to apply that here so that it picks up that currency that we are using. So I'm just going to say discounted amount. Just going to say discounted amount. So that way we will know that this is like the amount they're expected to
0.2.
pay, and this value has been applied to this. All right, so now that that is settled, so let's move on. Let's move on to creating more robust math operations. So right now we have OMRRTS, customer ID, order dates, product ID or product hashtag, the quantity, unit price, total cost, discount, and discounted amount. So
2%.
right now we do not have the information of our um,
I
customers.
can't see your screen again. Okay, it's back.
Okay. Right now we do not have the
It's back. It's back.
information. All right, that's fine. Right now we do not have the information of our customer. We only have, I mean, on this sheet right here, we only have their ID, which is this customer hashtag right here. So what if we wanted to have a space where we could see their the ordered products and then the names of the customers that have actually ordered for this product?